Hey, this is Tigress again. I'm doing a review on this guy. I originally was thinking about doing the RID Megatron I have, the one that I said in my introduction I hadn't taken out of the box, because I thought maybe I had because I'd found instructions on both the instructions are out, but then I just investigated the box and the seal is completely sealed. It's not been opened, and then I vaguely remembered I think that I had done the same thing with him I had done with my Transmetal 2 Dragons where I bought a second one. Which then aggravated me because I don't know where he is, and I have a feeling he's in the same box packed away where the boxes for my Transmetal 2 Megatron and Transmetal Cryotech, the ones that aren't in the box are, which has their missiles, and one other Transformer I wasn't able to find when I unpacked all my Transformers, a Hyena, which I didn't like, but I want him now solely because he's a great example of what a bad transformation is. This guy comes close, but the Hyena was class example of like a really horrible transformation, so he would have been great to review just for that. Yeah, basically my display cabinet, I've been able to unpack all my collectibles about a month or so ago, and they've been sitting in boxes for about 5 years since I moved here. So yeah, so now I have no idea where that box with all that stuff is. I'm mostly aggravated because I don't have the missiles anymore for the Transmetal 2 Dragons, but I still would have liked, it's lost stuff now. Anyways, so on to the review. This is Cheetor from Beast Wars. It's the Transmetal 2 one, and the only reason I got him was because I like the character. I mean, he wasn't my favorite character. Dinobot was definitely my favorite character of the series, followed by Megatron. But, he was pretty good, and he was a cat. I'm a big cat person, so that was a bonus. I liked him. The Autobots or the Maximals were not that bad. I usually find good guys boring, but that's one of the things I liked about Beast Wars, where the good guys actually were interesting. They weren't just boring. I mean, original G1 Transformers, the Autobots didn't have much personality, in my opinion. Optimus, I never understood the love for Optimus. I'm gonna get flamed for that, but I'm sorry. It was like, okay, yeah, it's Optimus. He's the good guy, goody two-shoes, blah, 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 boring. I like more personality. Animated Optimus is great because he doesn't start out as being the be-all, end-all. He's got flaws. He was kicked out of the academy. I kind of like a little more flavor to my characters. In the original G1, they were doing the good guys always have to be super good. And I probably should transform this guy back to complete beast mode. This is my second try at this review, and I couldn't get him back to the proper beast mode transformation. The first time I tried to review him, I couldn't get him into robot mode because I forgot what he looked like, and I've only transformed this guy once since I've unpacked him, now twice. And so I had to actually stop in the middle of the video, look a picture of him, and figure out what I was doing wrong. And apparently I had forgotten that I was supposed to tuck this head underneath rather than leave it out. So it's not fully transformed. That's supposed to actually go in, and I can't figure out why it won't go in. But at this point, it mostly looks like his beast mode. One of the things I don't like about this toy, I don't really like beast mode. Oh, I don't like either modes, honestly. But I liken it to, if you've ever seen Parasite Eve, where it's got this weird, crazy storyline. Short end of it is that, if you haven't seen the game, is that the villain uses mitochondria to evolve creatures into more like her, and they turn in these, like, their skin that comes off, and they like these weird mutated things. Well, this reminds me of the kind of mutation, like if she had mutated a cheetah, it would kind of look like this, except for you probably wouldn't have any fur on it anymore. It would be kind of like bare muscle skin or something. But it's a very distorted form of a cheetah. And honestly, the other thing I don't like is it doesn't, if I remember correctly, and I haven't watched Beast Wars in a while, it doesn't really look that, in Beast Wars, of course they could cheat because they could make it look whatever. They are not like stuck to plastic, but he looked a lot better in Beast Wars than he does in the toy, if I remember correctly. And so basically, and also his head can't look up. That's the most he can look up. Can you imagine trying to run like this and trying to, he looks uncomfortable. He looks hunched over. I don't see how he'd really fight well in that. His missile's pointing down. If he tries to shoot anyone, it's going to shoot the ground. So yeah, in general, it's not that great, but at least it transforms properly. The Hyena I lost, one of the reasons he's a great example of a bad transformation is that when you have him in beast mode, he doesn't click together or anything. Oh, somebody texted me apparently. Anyways, he doesn't piece together, so he kind of like right here, he just goes like that, and there's no way to get him to stay like that. You kind of have to just kind of hope he stays like that to look in beast mode. And if I remember, in robot mode, he's even worse about his transformation. It's broken. It doesn't fully do well. Anyways, so let's try to transform this guy. I get sidetracked very easily, and I really wish I had the hyena, because he would have been fun to rant about. So you take this tail off here, and then you straighten these out. These are going to be his legs. And then, see, and this is the other thing. I don't really find this toy that fun to transform, honestly. I mean, I don't know. The transformation just doesn't do it for me. It's annoying. I find it obnoxious. I mean, I can't even place why, but the transformation isn't fun. It's just kind of annoying, in my opinion. It's, you know, some transformations, it's kind of fun to fiddle. Even if they're simple transformations, it's kind of fun to fiddle, put them back, put them forth. Some of them are kind of complicated and kind of amusing to look, you know, like a Masterpiece Starscream, which I don't transform that much because I'm afraid of breaking, but at the same time, it is kind of fun to transform because of the complication, because it's amazing what they managed to do. This one, they didn't even really do anything that was all that amazing. So you're supposed to push his head through here. Now I can't get it. There we go. So we push that way. And then his head twists around. And I probably... See, I just don't... You know, this is just too fiddly. It's too fiddly. Too many things that get stuck. And I think did I just... I was wondering if I just broke my toy. But there's too many things that get stuck. It's just not that fun. And I hate Transformers that you just end up like... You can't get them right. You can't have to fiddle with them. And they feel like they're getting stuck. It's just not really good design, in my opinion. Ugh, so his head will not come out now. Now what did I do? Apparently I've managed to fold him in half. That's interesting. Okay, now I got his head out and his... Yeah, okay, so that... Now I gotta remember he's gotta flip his head back like that. And then you close this up, turn this around, and see, it's not even that complicated. It's just fiddly. I don't... You know, it's you're sitting there trying to get things to fit right. It's not fun. So, and, you know... Honestly, I almost wish I hadn't bought it, but I didn't get... I mean, I knew Dinobot. Dinobot was my favorite character, but I couldn't get over those feet sticking in front of his chest. Mainly because, you know, you couldn't even... You couldn't suspend disbelief that he looked anything like a dinosaur because you had these random feet just sticking there. This one is a little better, and at least it's not trying to look totally like a cheetah. You can tell they're trying to kind of do different, but I'm not a big fan. So anyway, so now you have him in his robot form where he's still hunched over. He still can't look up. He's looking straight at the ground. I don't see how he'd fight like this. His arms like look really long. He looks like this like hide monster, and he looks really squat. Like if you look at his legs, his body's real short, and then his legs, and then you could probably shorten it and make it look better. But then he's even more hunched over. I mean, and then I could probably make a joke, but I'm not good at those, so about like being constipated. And he doesn't look comfortable. And then you look at this big space around his head. It's just like his head's just kind of floating there, and it's from any angle you can almost notice that. You notice it there, definitely notice it from there. Maybe if you kind of go like this, it doesn't look like his head's just kind of floating in space. So in general, I think his missile just fell off. In general, I'm not a huge fan of this toy. I don't think it's that great. Unfortunately, it's very kind of an example. A lot of Beast Wars toys weren't that great. There's some really good ones. Transmetal 2 Megatron was great. Tigerhawk looked pretty good. I had a chance to get him, but I couldn't get myself to pay the money. I'm still not sure if I could or not, but I don't know if the transformation was fun or anything, but in his beast mode, he looked awesome. And I like, I've got Silverbolt, and he's a pretty cool one. I like him a lot. So they, the Fusers, I think they seem to do pretty well. But a lot of the ones like Cheetor, and then that hyena was also a Transmetal too, that he never got in the show, a lot of them, they just didn't do so great with. So anyways, so that is my review, and I wouldn't recommend this character unless you really like Cheetor and just wanted an example, and that's the only reason to buy this toy in my opinion, because otherwise it kind of fails.